So in order to convert our string array into a list array, we need a few things. Let's just start out by actually defining it here. So it's the capitalized L because it's a class called list that we're going to use, and we're going to explain right here that it's going to contain strings. Just like you did here with the array, you explained it's going to contain strings and it's the type of array. Here we're defining it's an array, and generically, we'll get back to generics, I'm defining it's going to contain strings right now. Let's just call it words again, and then make it equal. And since it's actually a class, I'm going to initialize it by making new list of the type string right here. Now you'll notice that I'm getting red squiggly lines. That means that something is wrong. I'm going to try and zoom a bit because the problem here is actually it doesn't know what a list is. That object is not defined in our current code, right? So that doesn't mean you have to define it yourself, but it means we need to import or use a package that Microsoft defined for us in C# .NET language, right? So what you have to do is either manually, you have to go up here and say, I'm going to use a package called system generics maybe. I'm just guessing here. Oh, I can't find the way. So what do you do when you can't find the way? You let the system autocomplete for you. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the list here, I'll control and dot, and it pops up and actually telling me it's called system collections generics. I'm pressing that one, and up here it actually imported that specific thing for me right here. So now it knows inside the generic package there is a list available that you can use. Okay, so now this class right here is inside the generic namespace. We'll make these namespaces ourselves later, so let's just keep it at that. To use lists, you have to use or import a specific package of code that the .NET C# language has made for you, so called generic. So now we have our list available, and let's just remove the old list. Well, actually, I'll keep it for a while because I want to start adding stuff to this words list. So I'll write words, and the way you add to a list, one way of adding to a list is using the add function that's on the word. Let's just call this word 2 for now. So I'll start by adding the scissors down here. There we go. Then I'll add my paper, and then I'll add my rock. So now I've made the same list. Let's just remove the old one. There we go. We made a list of strings now instead of an array. Now the next thing we'll see is that we start getting some errors in the code, and that is because the list class does not contain a property called length. Instead, it has a property called count. Count gives you the same information as length did on an array. The only difference is it goes in and counts each position to see how many we actually have available, because this is a dynamic list that can grow and shrink, right? We have the same problem down here inside the other for loop. There we go. We also remove it, change it from length to count. And then here in the for each loop, everything is still running. Another reason to use for each. Yay! Good, let's try and run the program, see if everything is still running, and then we'll play around a bit with how we can actually, again, cut away some code to make this easier so we don't have to add. See you in the next lesson.